everyone, welcome back to day 23 of Christmas in July. My name is Chris O'Neill. I'm so glad you're here. And today we're going to talk all about quilt inspiration, or quiltspiration, if you will. I know this can be a problem for a lot of people. You're either out of ideas and feel like you just can't come up with anything, or you're overwhelmed with ideas because there's so much out there on social media. So I'm going to help you with that. It's almost 5 months till Christmas. Now's the time to just relax and to start thinking of ideas. Maybe keep a notebook or notes on your phone or computer of just some ideas. That's all. Nothing too stressful. So I came up with a list of things that you can look at, places you can look, different areas you can get some inspiration. Some are obvious, some not so much. I think the obvious ones are important because it's a nice reminder of what's out there. And then the not so obvious are important because it might be something you never thought of. So let's get started. The first one, of course, is magazines and books. Now I love old magazines. I love new magazines. Quilting magazines are one of my favorite resources, and I usually pick them up wherever I can, even at yard sales and stuff. If they're really old, I love to look through them. Because sometimes these projects, if you just update the colors a little bit, they're still like traditional blocks that we all know and love and are great. Same thing with old books. I have this particular one, Georgia Bone Steel. I remember her. I don't know if she's still alive or not. I'll have to check. But this is in rough shape, but it's a cool old book to look at for inspiration. Let's see what the date is on this. 1982, this was published. So feels like it's not that old, but it's still kind of old. There's lots of good stuff in here and different projects to make. Same thing with this one. An old book is always fun to look at, but new ones are fun too. I just bought this one, the Vintage Christmas. Have you seen this one yet? I've had a lot of fun going through this and coming up with ideas. And then we talked about 3-yard quilts. They have one that's only Christmas quilts, so this is something to think about. And then also there's books like Piece of Cake that are all about using, I think, layer cakes, and there's very specific books and there's very broad books. Another place to look is the library, or swap with friends. Get together with some friends and say, hey, let's just swap 5 books. We'll put our names in them, we'll get them back to you. But sometimes getting some new information is always beneficial because you might not have seen any of these books before, and you don't have to invest in them too. And speaking of magazines, even catalogs have good ideas. I got these current catalogs. I actually got 2 within a couple days, and I was looking through them and got some really good ideas. One of them is this, just a starting off point. Wouldn't this make a really cute quilt? I'll put a picture in here because I don't think you can see it, but it's pumpkins layered, and you could do something like that with plaids. I think it's adorable. It doesn't have to be exactly like it. We're talking about just inspiration, which I love that one. Same thing with LL Bean, or if you go onto Target's website or Walmart's websites, all of these websites have bedding. You can get some ideas for quilts, but you can also get ideas for other things just by looking at them and thinking about colors and the things that they're putting together. It really is a wonderful resource. Another place to look is on Pinterest, and I know we all love Pinterest, but you can even make a board that is Christmas inspiration and keep adding to it. And you can make the boards private, just saying, if you don't want anybody else to see what you're going to be working on, or if you don't want somebody who maybe is receiving a gift to see it. And you can also share boards with people. So the opposite's true. Maybe you have a family member who wants you to make them a quilt, or is getting married or something like that, and they can share ideas with you too, or other quilters. Like me, I'm on Pinterest, so if you want to check out Sew the Distance on Pinterest, shameless plug, you can check that out too. I do have a page. When you're looking on Pinterest, you want to use some good keywords or search terms, so make sure you're thinking about that so you can get the best results. And the same is true with YouTube and with Instagram, or even Facebook has a lot of information out there. I wrote a few down, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. So Christmas quilt patterns, holiday stash busters, Christmas quilt inspiration, Christmas table runners, small sewing projects. These are all wonderful ways to find some project ideas. And you don't have to commit. You can just file those away, or keep a secret board, or even add to a collection on Instagram or a playlist on YouTube. Another unique or unusual place to look that you may not have thought of is at vintage items. I know that they inspire me. Things that you might want to look at are vintage postcards, vintage greeting cards, other types of things like that that you can think of, even old stamps, new stamps. These are all great resources for inspiration for us that are kind of outside the norm, and you can really become inspired by the colors and the patterns and even some of the motifs in them. Another really great resource are children's books, especially holiday-themed children's books. And you can find these also at the library, or even in thrift shops. You could find some and just look through them and get some ideas. Same is true with coloring books. You can find some wonderful inspiration there. And my last tip is to keep an album on your phone. I like to do this whenever I see anything that is inspiring. I'll take a picture of it and put it into an album called Quilt Inspiration. I'll see things like this chair I saw in a waiting room. I thought this would make a really cute quilt. Or this street art I saw when I was in Vermont. Or even a beer can. Look at this design. Isn't this design awesome? You can find inspiration everywhere. So as we're going into the holiday sewing season and gift giving season, things we might want to make too, keep in mind all of these things and keep on the lookout for some different ideas for your sewing projects through the holidays. I hope this list helped you just get the juices flowing with some different ways to find some ideas for sewing and quilting and gift giving this year. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you take some time to sew, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.